All right. What is the link for this? Let me see. Testing, testing, testing. I got to get my music going on it though, right? All right, let's put this in here. I don't know the direct link to this channel. Well, for the live itself. So I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I don't even know if I'm coming through clear, but Facebook wants to act silly today. Or is it just me? I hear that Eric Worre is having no problem doing his live, but everybody else can't do theirs. So is it just what, a crypto thing? So we'll see. So we got on Crypto Art. What's happening? Bouger, Mafus, Bridget, TC Dixon, Lashana. I don't like this camera being on, y'all. Try to relax. I had to go put on a shirt and put on some clothes. Yeah, it's because I'm using my laptop. Next time I'll try it from my phone. Maybe that'll have a better clear, but I don't want the camera on anyway. How you guys doing today? Sunday morning for me. Sunday afternoon for those of you on the East Coast. We got to get our crypto kick in. As a disclaimer, I'm not a licensed financial advisor to be dispensing financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, share suggestions, and it is up to you to make an informed, intelligent decision on which direction you want to move into. There's 4 rules I live by in the crypto space. Rule number 1, education is key. Education is everything. Rule number 2, never invest money you cannot afford to lose. Number 3, always get your return on investment back as fast as possible. And number 4, where do you see yourself in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? What are you willing to do to make it happen? Make a decision, stay focused, and do not get distracted. There's so many things out there that can distract you. You have limited resources. Now, this is not going to guarantee you success, but it will at least minimize your risk. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the most that we can ask for. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. A couple of articles up I want to cover. The first is from the U.S. Can I type something in this chat box? Let's see if I can paste this link. Yeah, okay, yeah, this is a link. There are ways. I got to get with my boy. There are ways that I can do this on YouTube and share screen at the same time. I've got Wirecast and others. I just never took the time to learn how to do it. Plus, I didn't like having the camera on anyway, so I didn't care. But if Facebook keeps acting a fool, then that's what I'm going to do. I'll just start doing all of my crypto talks through YouTube and figure out how to screen share at the same time and keep it moving. You know, it's not going to stop us. Facebook wants to act stupid with it. So let's talk about this article here. U.S. lawmakers say IRS too focused on enforcement should provide clarity for crypto taxation. U.S. lawmakers have called on the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, to issue clarified and comprehensive crypto taxation guidance in an open letter submitted yesterday, September 9th. The letter was sent to acting IRS Commissioner David Carter by Congress members David Schweikert, Darren LaHood, and Brad Winstrup, Kevin Brady, and Lynn Jenkins from the Committee on Ways and Means. It opens by calling attention to a prior letter by the representatives in May of last year, which had already questioned the agency's lack of a comprehensive crypto taxation strategy. Since then, lawmakers claim the IRS has continued to expand its enforcement activities, but without issuing any further guidance for taxpayers. The representatives deemed that the IRS has had more than adequate time to work through the complexities after its preliminary rules were issued 4 years ago. These indicated that crypto would be treated as property for tax purposes in the U.S. and were issued in March 2014. The lawmakers note that in September 2016, the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration had reported that the IRS crypto tax strategy was incomplete and had already called for updated guidance at the time, further noting that other associations have since called on the agency to provide additional clarity for taxpayers. However, the lawmakers consider that, despite the issuance of only preliminary guidance on this issue back in March 2014, the IRS has made enforcement of this guidance a priority, undertaking robust enforcement actions on a number of fronts. As an example of the IRS robust enforcement actions to date, the lawmakers draw attention to the agency's decision to summon records from American users of crypto exchange and wallet service providers Coinbase in July 2017, which has since been a protracted legal battle set in. The lawmakers argue that while the IRS has proactively continued to remind taxpayers of the penalties for non-compliance with its guidance, you got that right, its failure to introduce a more robust taxation framework severely hinders taxpayers' ability to meet their obligations. I agree with that. The letter closes by stating that the representatives will be asking the Government Accountability Office to undertake an audit on this matter. As previously reported, data released ahead of the close of the preceding tax year suggested that just 0.04% of tax filers were reporting capital gains from crypto investments to the IRS. You guys see that? 0.04% of you guys out there paying your taxes, 0.04% is reporting your taxes. That's not good. You know, I say, especially since I'm being recorded, pay your taxes, report your income, because they will come back on you in the future. It may not be next year. It may not be, 2 years from now, but they can go 3 to 5 years back on you, and only 0.04% is reporting it. They're going to be active looking for everybody. So report, I'm not saying I'm not a licensed advisor, so I can't tell you report everything. All I'm saying is report something. Let them know that you got something, especially if you're pulling money out and putting it in your bank account. They know you got money coming in from somewhere and you're not reporting it. Even Uphold is acting crazy now. Uphold sent me, I have multiple wallets, but one of them was with Uphold, and they sent me how do they term it? We need more information, KYC, on you. And it basically stated because of the amount of money I had flowing through there, they want to know where that money came from. So they said they want to know all my deposits from December, January, and February. They tracked one of my wallets from March to July, but they want to know, where is the money coming from? Who is my employer? That's what questions they were asking me. I said, you know what? Y'all can go jump with that. I just won't use you. What is that one? Bouger says, Bread wallet is decentralized. That's correct. I haven't put money in my Bread wallet yet, but I got Bread. Now, Bread, are you able to pull money from Bread into your bank account? I haven't looked that one up yet. I got it. You guys are seeing me. I'm not used to having this camera on because I be multitasking while I'm doing crypto talks. And we got a major deal going on right now with a buyer for Bitcoin that I'm looking at. Anyways, what if I do this? I can record a screen share of me doing my crypto talk and then upload it. But if I do that, it's not a live. So you guys prefer that or me going live? I gotta talk to my agent Bouger. Let me know what might be the best way to do this, or I'll get a some kind of encoder that allows me to share screen while I'm live on YouTube, and I don't have to show the camera on. You know. Lashana says prefer live, not video. If it's video, the quality's better because right now it looks all hazy and whatnot. But if I do record it beforehand, there's no live interaction with you guys either. All right. Mafuz, not digging YouTube crypto talks. I'll play around with this and see what's the best fit. Bouger says it as well. Live is better. Live with the camera or screen share. Or there's software. I've got Camtasia and Wirecast. I think I can do it with both, with the camera on and the screen on at the same time, or even with my phone. I don't know, but I'm not digging this camera on thing. All right, let's go on to the next article here. Let's see. What do I want to do? Australia or yeah, let me do Australia first because Australia's been in the news a lot lately. All right. I've been recording a lot about Australia if you've been paying attention. Some of you made a whole lot of money off of that when I announced about IBM and Apple Computer, Bill Gates also with Ripple and Ethereum in Australia. Their entire first, you know what, here's what I remember. The first time I remember doing a talk on Australia, they had implemented a crypto education series in their elementary school, free of charge for all their elementary school kids. And they were encouraging them to create their own blockchain and their own crypto coin. This is elementary school kids in Australia. The next thing I reported on it, Australia started to experiment with doing certain vendors accepting crypto as payments. The next thing they did was they now allowed all Australians to pay all their bills in crypto. All bills in crypto. Then the last thing is that they said that IBM, JP Morgan Chase came in and they're using Ripple and they're using the Ethereum blockchain to put the entire financial network in Australia and government on the blockchain. So Australia is leading the way as far as Western nations on this. Now we've got this article. Now listen to this. I'm going to read it. Australia's first dollar-backed crypto stablecoin to be launched in 2019. Now, who do you think is taking the lead here? The United States or freaking Australia? Just like has already happened with the US dollar and the euro. Among others, Australia is about to get its first Aussie-backed stablecoin. This will be made possible by a partnership between BitTrade, one of the oldest cryptocurrency exchanges in Australia, and blockchain employment platform Imparta. The two firms will collaborate in designing and launching the stablecoin, which is expected to be launched next year. So this is next year. So when we talk about the Tether is US backed, meaning US dollar backed, dollar for dollar. The euro now has its own stable coin, and now Australia's coming out with theirs. So if I look at Coin Market Cap right now, let me pull that up. And I think I talked about this last night. The market seems to be right now. Scroll down. Yeah, I got to figure out how to do screen share so you guys can see what I see. How'd you get that link, Bouger? YouTube's not giving me the link from my own freaking stream. All right. Let's see. The whole market's got green almost. Bitcoin is kind of flat. But everybody else is green. Let me see, what is Tether doing? Tether's in the red, so there you go. Stellar is up 21%. Didn't I tell you guys about Stellar Lumens? IBM, I just said that a couple of days ago. So had you bought some Stellar 2 days ago, you're up 21% on your money. So I'm long-term on Stellar. Why IBM is backing them up. Bitcoin Diamond is up 11%. But anyways, Tether is in the red. So whenever the market goes up, Tether's in the red. When the market's going down, Tether's in the green. Because people are using it like gold. It's a stable coin. So Australia is coming out with their own as well. So it's going to be made possible, a partnership between BitTrade, you might want to write that one down for those of you that like to invest in companies, is one of the oldest cryptocurrency exchanges in Australia, and blockchain employment platform Imparta. That's the one right there. Imparta, when you want to write that down. The two firms will collaborate in designing and launching the stablecoin, which is expected to be launched next year. According to the managing director of BitTrade, Jonathan Miller, the AUD-backed stablecoin will fill a gap that exists in the market, as it will act as a buffer against the wild fluctuations associated with cryptocurrencies. Stablecoins solve one of the principal issues that may drive investors seeking steady returns and merchants that currently accept traditional currency away from digital currencies. Volatility, wrote Miller in a statement. We believe that stablecoins will boost trust, accelerate widespread adoption, and could function as the backbone of the blockchain-based financial applications, especially here in Australia, given the favorable regulatory environment. Prototype phase. The two firms are currently working on a prototype, which will be completed in a period of a little over a month. So this is going to happen in a month. So you want to look up Imparta and see if there's any way that you might be able to invest with them, or they may have their own coin or what. So this is going to be important in the future, especially you got some time. You got a whole month. So Imparta also revealed in a Medium blog post that the stablecoin's initial treasury will be located in the continent come country. I don't know what that means. The first treasury will be based in Australia to support the first partner platforms, BitTrade and Imparta Payments, and deliver the first Australian dollar-backed stablecoin, wrote Imparta. Okay, now as these stablecoins start coming out, and you guys might think this is good, there's also a flip side to this. The flip is, what if the governments decide to use the stablecoin as the new Fed coin? Now, Tether is not controlled by the government, but the Fed coin will be a stable coin. Or what if the Australian government uses this coin as their stable coin, as their Aussie coin? You know, This article so far I haven't read. It tells me what they're going to call this coin, but it looks to be private. So you're going to see every country start to do this. So according to Aichin Green, stablecoins, which are fully collateralized, involve a great deal of expense for the issuing firm, since every unit of the stablecoin has to be backed by an equivalent of the asset that it's pegged to. So example, Tether right now has a little over $2 billion. That means the company of Tether has $2 billion worth of cash in a bank account. And all the coins out there representing Tether is backed by the $2 billion coins. The Fed coin, when the government comes out with that, we're not talking about trillions of dollars that they're going to say is backing the Fed coin. This is going to be interesting. Despite these arguments, it is highly unlikely that the AUD-backed stablecoin by BitTrade and Imparta will be the last crypto world will ever hear of. That's correct. This is a domino effect. Tether, Europa, whatever they call that, Eurocoin. Now the AUD stablecoin. Russia's going to have their own. Brexit in Britain, the pound is going to have their own. The yen is going to have their own. The naira, every country is going to have their own version of this. But what to really watch out for is when the government starts to come out with their version of it as well. All right. Let me look at you guys have been, only problem with this, I can't read the chats while I'm reading the articles. Let's see, what are you guys talking about? Anything new? Let's see. Stellar, yep. BitTrade, no, that wasn't BitTrade. Was that BitTrade for Australia? Australia stablecoin. Who are they partnering up with? Imparta and what type of Imparta? What did I miss that? It's the Australian exchange. It's in this article somewhere. Yeah, BitTrade. That's Australia's oldest exchange. All right, and the last article up, and this is one you definitely want to pay attention to. I've been talking about this for years. When I was in e-commerce from 2013 to 2016, I said that the world is preparing for the next financial collapse. And it's going to be bigger than the Great Depression. It's going to be bigger than 2008. And it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Getting into crypto allows me to prepare myself and my family for this crash so that I don't have to rely on the government. Because the government's not going to bail out people like it did in 2008. Oh, I'm sorry. The government didn't bail people out. They bailed out businesses, banks, using our money. They got bailed out using our money. But we didn't get bailed out. We lost our homes, 401k, savings, all that stuff. All right, so what is this new article talking about? Next crash will be worse than the Great Depression. And as I read this, I want you to ask yourself this question. What are you personally doing right now to prepare for this? What are you doing right now? The national debt is $21 trillion. Do you know, for the U.S. to pay this off, every family in America owes $267,000 to pay off the national debt. You got $267,000 lying around to kick in your share of that? $267,000 per family in America. So 10 years ago, it was too easy credit that bought financial markets to their knees. Today, it could be a global debt. The global debt is $247 trillion. Good Lord. That causes the next crash. After a decade of escalating U.S. household debt, brought on by low wages and the national debt more than doubling over the same time frame to $21 trillion. Debt could soon put the brakes on this economic recovery, analysts warn. We think the major economies are on the cusp of this turning into the worst recession we have seen in 10 years, said Murray Gunn, head of global research at Elliott Wave International. And in a note, he added, should the U.S. economy start to shrink, and our analysis suggests that it will, the high nominal levels of debt will instantly become a very big issue. The economic stats, okay, here's some stats here, pay attention. U.S. household debt of 13.3 trillion now exceeds the 2008 peak. That's due in part to mortgage lending, which is hovering near its decade-ago level of 9 trillion plus. Student loans outstanding have skyrocketed from 611 billion in 2008 to around 1.5 trillion dollars today. And what good are those degrees doing us today? You graduate from college, you're going to get a job where your boss has a GED or a high school degree. You know, you've got more degrees than the people you're working for. Where you now need a diploma just to get an $11 an hour job. Right? I mean, is it really worth it to go into debt to get a college degree that you're not even going to be able to make enough money to live on, let alone pay off that debt? Here's another one. Auto loans at nearly 1.25 trillion. I believe in, paying for your car with cash. Pay it with crypto. Got my Bitcoin mobile. 1.25 trillion have exceeded the 2008 total, while credit card balances are just as high now as before the Great Recession. Meanwhile, global debt, a result of central bankers flooding economies with cheap money to lift them out of the funk, is now 247 trillion, up from 177 trillion in 2008. That is close to 2.5 times the size of the global economy. We won't be able to call it a recession. It's going to be worse than the Great Depression, said economic commentator Peter Schiff, forecasting a major economic downturn as early as the tail end of the Trump presidency's first term. The U.S. economy is in so much worse shape than it was a decade ago. I want you to let that sink in for a second. The U.S. economy is in so much worse shape than it was a decade ago in 2008. Don't believe the news. The news got you guys gassed up thinking that the U.S. economy is in the best shape it's ever been. Unemployment is at record lows. That's called fattening up the calf. Getting ready for the slaughter, the quiet before the storm. Economic theorists say insurmountable debt is the big kahuna. The huge sums today certainly fed the boom times, but since it must eventually be repaid, the tipping point will come when a wave of defaults by overwhelmed borrowers, potentially squeezed by rising interest rates, leads to a widespread reduction in spending and incomes, economists explain. Although Schiff has gotten some calls wrong in the past, he incorrectly predicted the U.S. Federal Reserve would fail in its roundabout quantitative easing campaign to reflate. How are they going to do that? Reflate housing and stocks in the wake of the financial crisis. He is convinced he is right on the money this time. I think we are going to have a dollar crisis. Hey, how many of y'all still saying cash is king right now? Going to have a dollar crisis. Oh, I lost my place. Hold up. You think the Turkish lira looks bad right now? Turkish lira looks bad right now. Wait till you see when the dollar is imploding and we have a sovereign debt crisis in the U.S., he told the Post. The U.S. government is going to be given a choice between defaulting on the debt or else massive runaway inflation. So you're looking down on Venezuela right now, Zimbabwe, Turkey. What do you think is going to happen here? It hasn't happened. It hasn't happened in your lifetime, but it has happened before. The 20s. I did in college. I got to find that paper. I did a whole thesis on the economic crash, the Great Depression in the 20s. And if you go back and study what life in America was like for that, what life was like for the majority of the population, and what life was like for the minorities, it really wasn't that much different. Only I will say the minorities failed well because they didn't have much to begin with anyway, and they are used to struggle. But if you're not used to struggle, you're not used to being broke, you're not used to going to the store and there's absolutely nothing on the counter. If you're not used to any of that, how are you going to survive? All right, let me finish here. Let me finish. I'll go off on a tangent. It says, earlier this year, Goldman Sachs said the fiscal outlook for the U.S. was not good and could threaten the nation's economic security during the next election. Economic security. Schiff dismisses the latest batch of positive indicators, including the lowest, I just said this, the lowest unemployment rate in a generation, soaring business confidence spurred by President Trump's tax cuts, and the Dow hitting record highs. Obviously, there is a whole lot of optimism, but there is a very good chance the U.S. economy is in recession within the next 2 years. So remember that other article I read the other day that said by 2020? We're in a very short period of time to get our acts together. And I'm not talking about the government. I'm talking about personally, financially. This is already the second longest economic expansion in history, Schiff said, adding that recent dips in new housing starts and auto sales may be red flags. Okay, so the moment you start seeing dips in the housing and you start seeing auto sales start to drop, this is a signal. What should you do? How can I say this now? I'm not an economic financial advisor, but I would suggest you start taking your money out. Having your money in savings is not the way to go. Have your money in places where it's going to work for you. I'm even leery of real estate. Crypto. Gunn sees a brutal deflationary spiral ahead in the next downturn. People will look to central banks to help them out, but the authorities will be found wanting, Gunn warned. Our prediction is that central banks will go from being feted for saving the world in 2008 to being vilified for being impotent in the coming deflationary crash. The coming deflationary crash. What are you guys doing right now? How are you preparing for this coming crash? This is what crypto is all about. What saved people in Venezuela is they started Bitcoin mining, and the Bitcoin that they were earning was worth, they were freaking wealthy compared to their not the petrol, their local currency they had down there. I forgot the name of it. But every single one of you guys this week, this right now has the opportunity, at least a year, maybe 6 months to a year, to stack up as much wealth as you can in cryptos. Don't put all of it into your US bank account. And when the crash comes, your wealth won't be impacted. The crash is going to have nothing to do with Bitcoin or crypto. So your crypto portfolio is the value is going to remain the same, but the US dollar is going to go chew down. So you don't lose your wealth. Let me get that in layman's terms. Let's say you have $200,000 in the bank right now. When the crash happens, that $200,000 may only be worth $20,000. But let's say you have $200,000 worth of crypto, money in your crypto, and the crash happens, you still have $200,000 worth. not in US dollars, but in wealth. You understand what I'm saying here? All right, so that is it for Crypto Talk. I think, since Facebook screwed up, there ain't no going back. So I might just do all my Crypto Talks now straight through YouTube. And I got to do some research. And anybody that knows how to do streaming with, showing your screen and camera on YouTube at the same time, let me know what software, and I'll look into doing that, and I'll start doing it. I'll just give out a link and say, I'm about to do a Crypto Talk YouTube, and I don't know if you guys get alerts. So if I go live on YouTube, how are you going to know? Unless maybe I think you get alerts on email or something. So I don't know if there's something where it's a YouTube alert, but we'll see. Mafoosh, you want me to do a Zoom Crypto Talk? I don't know about that one. I don't know. I can reach more people using YouTube. Zoom, you got to be invited. YouTube, I've got thousands of people on my YouTube channel following me. All right, everybody. I hope you learned something new. As always, that's the point. See you next time. Maybe I'll do another YouTube live tonight for late night Crypto Talk. All right, guys. Oh yeah, and make sure you, if you subscribe to my channel, you can. I guess you can select it to get alerts. So make sure you select it so you get alerts, so you know when I go live on YouTube. All right, everybody. Bitcoin Brandon out. Bye bye.